Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University and Detective Comics, issue 991. Let's talk about who made this comic book. So this is Deface the Face Part 4, The Talking Man. James Robinson is the writer. Carmine Di Giandomenico is the artist. He's also the cover artist, along with Ivan Placencia. Question to alumni: is Ivan Placencia the same as FCO Placencia, or is that a pseudonym or ish, or is that like a relative, or just purely coincidental? Colors Rob Lay, and variant cover Mark Brooks. So, and of course, Batman was created by Bill Finger. Bob Kane was picking his nose in the corner, and somebody said, "Hey, you want to be on the credits also?" And he's like, "Yes, please." So, basically, this is, Harvey Two-Face ish, and a very elegantly speaking Batman. Everybody's speaking like it's a play. And there was a mention of Leviathan. That was cool, from over in the Silencer comics. A lot of mention of Leviathan this week. Action Comics had a mention also right in the first page. Interesting. Actually, what's funny is actually Cobra was mentioned also. Cobra is a big deal in this particular issue, and Brian Michael Bendis mentioned Cobra right in the same breath as Leviathan in in Action Comics this week. So that's issue 1004 if you want to check out the review. But yeah, man, it was eh, this issue, man. I'm just really waiting for it to go over. I mean, that's as rude as that sounds, and I'm sorry for anybody who's involved. Like, the art is beautiful. I really can't complain about the art at all. But as far as the writing, I just feel like this is an entirely different version of Batman. Like, this is an Elseworlds comic book where he's, I don't know, not just one of the top 1% or 0.01% in monetary statement and being from old money, but as though his parents died when he was 18 as opposed to 8. You know what I'm saying? Or 10, whatever he was. I think he was 8. But anyway, it's as though he had an extra decade with his parents. So he grew up and started going to prep school and all this stuff, and he kind of had that prep school sort of air about his voice, you know? So that's just what this feels like. It just feels like a very different Batman. It feels like all these characters are really different. As far as the story, I feel like there's just way too much exposition, way too much, like, this isn't a detective comic. Yes, it's Detective Comics, but I feel like Mr. Robinson is trying to make this into a detective story, but asking someone to give the answer is not detective work. You know what I'm saying? There was no super sleuthing in this whatsoever. There was an interrogation room scene briefly before the guy freaking died somehow. I guess he bit his tooth or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this was just Harvey and Batman talking, and then all of a sudden Gordon shows up and Harvey decides, "I'm going to commit suicide now." And he's like, "Just a second, Jim. This will only take a moment." And Jim's just like, "I'm going to sit here and smoke my pipe because that's what I did in reform school." So then he comes back up and throws him down. "Oh, Jim, you just wanted to talk. Why did you say so?" This is how people develop a nervous tick. Like, I just don't understand this comic. I really just don't. So it's a very, very different feel on on Detective Comics, specifically Batman in Detective Comics. I don't know, man. I don't know where to go with this. I just don't. So it's on digital until. until. I guess, like, what, 2 more issues? So, like, at the end was just absurd to me. Very interesting Batmobile. Very interesting. Like, aside from the Frank Miller version of the Batmobile in the far-flung future, this was probably the biggest Batmobile yet. It looked like this was supposed to have 2 sections or something. That's how freaking huge and bulky this damn thing was. But seeing Batman driving and freaking Two-Face outside, "Come on, partner!" Bam, 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 bam. And he's, like, out the sunroof. Like, are you... Get back. Seriously, I felt like Batman should have just, like, nut tapped him and, like, "Get back in the car, Harvey." And, like, what are you doing? Oh my god, it's just, this comic book was just way too out there. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave. That was the comic book. Your feelings below, please. Seriously, I'm curious. Like, am I just really off on this? All right. And I'm not. But in your opinion, am I? So, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.